Yeah, I'll send it to one of you. I'm not putting on the group. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wa after as-salatu wa taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulih al-Kareem wa as-sahawati min al-abadi wa shafi'il halaki wa la alihi. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا طبيب ودعنا خير أمة سيدنا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة والتسليم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, so today is just going to be a one-off lesson, and the lesson is on, well, the whole topic is journey of the soul. That's like it's a big topic, but I'm just going to concentrate on an element of it, which is Judgment Day. I'll kind of whiz through the different stages of it, but that's my prime focus on it, because we've only got an hour and we're not going to get through much of that. You can be okay, get through. Okay, first of all, before we're going to Journey of the Soul, I want to just touch upon a topic because it seems everyone is so interested in it. And Zaid has been on my case for so long. It's about jinns. Okay. So jinns are, obviously jinns exist and are made from smokeless fire. And that's the difference between jinns. Angels obviously are made from light, and jinns are made from smokeless fire. Some say that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that he will be sending a representative or vicegerent on earth, he's going to be creating a human. The angels question, why would you create a human? They're going to cause disruption, etc. on the earth. And the thing is, well, where did that come about from? How do they know if a human's going to come in and create disruption? Because they've experienced what jinns used to do. So jinns have been on the earth for years and years, and they've caused so much disruption on earth, and they live amongst us on the earth, but it's an unseen world, so we can't see it. So their world is an unseen world for us, and this is where this came about from. As they said, they're going to cause disruption, just like obviously the jinns were causing disruption, and they're going to fight amongst each other. Humans are going to be doing the same thing. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you don't know what I know. Okay, so that's where this came about from. Jinns don't primarily interact in our seen world. Okay, that's the primarily that's the case. But there are cases where there is interaction, and there are some that try to control jinns, etc. It's something that should be avoided, because you got the idolaters, etc., that do stuff like that. In all countries, I mean, in this one, in I think London, what was the name? I wrote the name somewhere here. Her name was Sue Allen, that was it. Sue Allen. She's meant to be retired now. And she's all about this spiritual world thing, etc. She controls jinns. Okay, so just avoid her. Okay. But she's retired now. She doesn't do this one-to-one interaction and all that with people anymore. But that was the name, Sue Allen. So it's about avoiding it, because you don't know what you're going into. Okay. Like humans, jinns have also been given free will, so they make choices, and they'll be also been sent the message of Islam. So the Prophet ﷺ says, "I've come for all, for everyone, for all creation." I mean, all creation means everything possible. All creation, that's what it is. That includes jinns. Okay. So there's jinns that are Muslim, and the jinns that are non-Muslim as well. And there's this, it comes quite commonly asked question, is that when you come about fortune telling, etc., can jinns tell you the future? Can they tell you what's going to happen to you, etc.? This scheme about eavesdropping, and it's mentioned in the Quran actually that we have surely placed constellation in the heavens, and we have adorned them for those who gaze and ponder, and we have guarded them from every devil cast out, except for any who hears in stealth, and it is then pursued by a clear flame. What he's referring to is jinns would eavesdrop. You know, where you got the tablet and where the angels guard the Lama Fools there, where everything is written. They would eavesdrop to kind of check out what the future of someone says, and they eavesdrop, and then they pass on the message to other jinns, and they'll carry on until the fortune teller will then get the news. But when that message is sent across, that message is corrupted, and there's lies amongst them. But when the fortune teller is told, the fortune teller will say, "This is what's going to happen to you." And if there's even a shadow or a hint of a truthness into that, with that, they'll say, "See, I told you, didn't I? That's what's going to happen to you." So just go on to the question. That's fine. That's what's going to happen to you. That's what they say. And there's a section in Sahih Bukhari, and the hadith in this section describes how the jinn climb one on top of each other, according to the narrator, like one hand over another to the heavens. Where Allah decrees a matter in the presence of angels, a jinn will hear some information in stealth, and if not burnt by a flame, passes it down below, one after another, until it reaches earth. It is finally given to the mouth of a sorcerer, who conveys it mixed with 100 lies. If anything proves true, people will say, "Didn't he tell us on such and such day that such and such would occur?" And we find out it to be true. So you understand, this is how they get it. They'll pick up some random thing, and they'll get, when the message comes across to them, they'll say, "Okay, this is what's going to happen." If by chance they get lucky, or if by chance that's what happens, as they see, and then it's almost like, "Oh, he got that right, so he must know everything else. So then let's go to him and ask him all the questions." Okay, so avoid stuff like that. When they mention about destroyed with flames, even up until when the Prophet ﷺ came, then you've got that Quran, the ayah that was revealed. Then there was stations set up all over of angels, and whenever a jinn tries to get close, the rocks are thrown at them, like flames are thrown at them. And the same thing happened when the Prophet ﷺ went on the Miraj. On the way, the jinns tried to, intercept, and rocks and were thrown at him with flames. And the teacher kind of said that, you see in the skies where you have the shooting stars almost. Yeah, that's the angels throwing rocks at the jinns. That's, I don't know, up to interpretation whether that is the case or not, but it is one way of looking at it. Okay, so that's actually rocks being thrown at jinns who are trying to eavesdrop. When we are born, two entities that are definitely with us. One is a jinn, known as a jinn Kareem, and the other an angel. You got Tom and Jerry. Everyone's seen Tom and Jerry, haven't they? Tom and Jerry, you have the right side and the left side. So you have a kind of good angel come up, and then you have like the devil one coming on the other side. It doesn't work like that. It's not like that. But that's the angel that record the good deeds and the bad deeds. But generally, you have an angel with you and jinn Kareem that grows up with you. So every single person has a jinn Kareem. Okay, and they say that when they're born, it's put into like your stomach, and when you sit, as it grows with you. When you're sitting, some say it sits, and its head is where your heart is, and it's sitting like that. That's the way jinn Kareem sits. Okay. The Prophet ﷺ had jinn Kareem, but the Prophet ﷺ was obviously powerful as the Prophet ﷺ. He converted his jinn Kareem and made it into a Muslim. Okay, the jinn Kareem is just there for waswasa. When this waswasa talking to you and all this, that's what the jinn Kareem does. Okay, he doesn't want good for you. Okay? He's almost jealous. The jinn Kareem is jealous of you. Okay, the jinn Kareem, actually jinns, they talk amongst each other. So sometimes you'll have that you've got some secret that only you know, and somehow that secret, someone can turn around and tell you that this secret is about someone. Again, back to this fortune telling. If I tell you a secret about you, will you believe me then? That's because jinn Kareem talk to each other. And it could be this person has control of a jinn, and your jinn has spoken to another jinn, and the message has been put across, and that information is relayed across to you. That's what it is. I mean, look, you can go on and on when it comes to jinns and all that. Fundamentally, the key here is don't worry about it. A person is steadfast, reading their prayers, reading the Quran, reading Ayatul Kursi, Surah Fatiha before going to sleep, the ghouls, etc. The jinns can't harm you. Okay, the jinn can't harm you. Allah Ta'ala is the protector, and we believe in that, and that's the key for us, and that's what you need to really worry about. When you see ghosts, this is of kuffar really. When you see ghosts, those are actually the jinn Kareem in the form of that person. So if a person's passed away, etc., that's not that person. It's the jinn Kareem that's taken the form of that person. And that's when you see kuffar say, "Oh, we saw a ghost, and it was my grandfather or my grandmother." That's jinn kareen, that is. That's what they are. So just a topic linked to that before we move on to Journey of the Soul. You've got shayateen, which are the disbelieving jinns actually, and referred to shayateen. And the hadith on it about the closer the shayateen get to a man of Allah, wali Allah, they burn. It's their light. It's the light of a wali Allah who's too strong for them. So shayateen, as they get closer, they'll burn, so they stay away from them. Okay? But what it comes down to is, you missed the interesting part, you were late.
Really?
Yeah. When it comes to shayateen are the small mini-me's of the iblis, shaitan. That's what shayateen are. So like I said, they can't get close to wali Allah. And when it comes to the great wali Allahs, that's when the iblis himself has to come and try to, I suppose, make them do bad or kind of trick them in some way. That's when iblis has to come himself. That's when the mini-me's don't work. They're just weak. For us, it's not a problem. You can get to level, I don't know, all the way level 10 of the mini-me shayateens, right? They're good enough for us. They'll disrupt us. But I'm talking about the ranks of the high wali Allah. For them, the mini shayateen, they don't work. That's when iblis has to, like they say, you want to get a job done, do it yourself. Yeah. And that's when the shaitan says, yeah, I think I'm going to have to get it. Iblis says, I'm going to have to get the job done myself. For us, obviously, iblis has never graced our presence. We're not even there. Nowhere near. We're way low down the order. We're like the ghetto shayateen. They're good enough for us. Iblis would come to the Sahaba actually in physical form. There's many descriptions of Iblis. In one narration, his face is like a khinzir, which is a pig. One narration of that. Actually, there was a wali Allah who described encounter with Iblis in his true form. And he said it was so ugly, I was about to faint. Yeah? It was so ugly. This is like dangerous ugly, like proper scary ugly. It was about to vomit and faint. This is wali Allah we're talking about here. So I think it's best we don't have an encounter like that. But like I said, the Iblis would counter Sahaba. There's a narration on actually Hazrat Umar Farooq actually wrestled the Iblis. There's one narration. The other narration is that the famous one is Hazrat Umar Farooq. He would be walking down the street, and if Iblis would see Hazrat Umar Farooq, he would run off and go on the opposite side and just run in the opposite direction. Soon as he would see Sayyidina Umar, so strong obviously believers, and everyone was scared of Sayyidina Umar. Is there any questions on jinn before we move on? I have brushed it. Like I said, the topic is a long topic, and I'm trying to cover it quickly, just so you guys, if it's something a bit more interesting, really. Question?
How big are they?
What's that?
How big are they?
Jinns. You can do different sizes, so some can be really, really big. They do different sizes. Yeah. Size, guys, one sec. Yeah.
What happens when we say
They stay, don't they? So jinns actually have lives as well.
are they the ones that then leave would
So some will. This is it. So some will still be alive then, actually. So some jinns will pass away. Certain ones are, as for example, our jinn Kareen, if I pass away, my jinn Kareen still lives for some reason. He still lives, then he'll still live. And if he does, sometimes, like I said, it's mainly for the kuffar, is that when they come in like a ghost form, they'll come in that person's ghost form. But that's different to what we're referring to when it comes to Muslims. It's different to Muslims because as Muslims, there's still a connection with the soul. I'm going to move on to that. There's still a connection with the soul and body, etc. when it comes to Muslims. And when it comes to us, it's about the soul. That's what we're talking about here. Because you talk about the tormentation that happens in the grave. For a non-believer, they're going to be punished in the grave, right? So they're going to be busy with their punishment in the grave. They can't really go around and all that. But with a believer who we believe is a pious believer, they're going to be in a state of all happiness in the grave, so they can maybe wander around in the terms of the soul that can wander around. There's some listen that's what they say you should the youngsters definitely. It's just before Maghrib. The time is that you shut your doors and windows because that's when the almost bad spirits are around at that time. Look, I wouldn't. The reason, put it this way: you walk into your house. As soon as you get into your house, you give salam. You read, Bismillah. You read Surah Fatiha. You read Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Okay, you give salam even if there's no one in the house. You still give salam, and then you read the salawat. Because if you don't give salam, then that's when the jinn will enter with you, and they say, "Look at this. We've got a house to stay in." Okay, and then when you're eating, right, or the shayateen I'm talking about, when you're eating, you don't say Bismillah then. Okay, and they say, "Look at this. We've got a free house and we've got free food as well," and then they eat with you as well. And then it's a dua as well if you just remembered, and you make the dua Bismillah so Bismillah at the start and at the end, and that's when they puke up. So it's important. These duas that we say, etc. These are important things to help you. Okay. The food of the jinn one of the food of the jinn is bones. That's one of the reasons why you don't use in the old times when they didn't have the tissue paper and they used to use stones, etc. to when they do stanja. One of the things is you don't use a bone. You don't use bones because that's one of the foods of the jinn. That's one of the reasons why you shouldn't leave bones lying around in the house. So I'm very particular actually. If there's bones in a plate in the kitchen, right, I'll pick it up and make sure I throw it in the bin. Okay, don't leave it lying around, especially don't leave it lying around all night. Okay. The other thing is in olden times, nowadays we've got a system of toilets, etc. For a system. In olden times, obviously in Pakistan, recently, you'd go out into the open and you basically, you got a toilet then, you sinate then. You stay away from those areas because that's where the jinn, where the dirt is, etc. That's where they gather. That's where they gather. And but in that, it's not the case in the UK really because you've got clean areas kind of thing, unless it's a sewage. So avoid the sewage areas. The question.
How do you locate these ones?
That's been relayed to us from previous ones. They've been relayed to us. Hadiths, etc. come back and this stuff. Majority of the time, it's not the case. Majority of the time, it's all in the head. Okay. Remember, I spoke about moon sighting and all that. If someone wants the moon to be sighted, right, doesn't matter what they see, they'll just say it's a moon. Yeah. You just that. Same thing with this is that a lot of it's in the head. Okay. Yes, it's possible. There's no denying it, but majority of the time it's not the case. It's like us. We'll blame everything on the jinn or taweez. Any little thing, right? I tripped over, hurt myself. Someone done taweez on you. It's not as easy as what people make it out to. And if I'm honest with you, when people try to do it, the only reason it happens is people who are trying to do it, they don't know what they're doing, and they mess it up. Okay, and that's why probably someone would get ill, etc. But like I said, it's something not to worry about. I only follow the topic because they've been on my case for I don't know how long. Talk about jinn. So I just thought a quick one. There's a lot more to talk about them, but this is just the main point around them. You don't need to worry about it, etc. They're around, yes, they're around. So what? They can't do anything to you. Yeah, every one of you got a jinn with you. There's no two ways about it. Everyone has a jinn with them. Your jinn, everyone has a jinn. Okay, so what? The idea is to just protect yourself and move on about it. Is that okay? Any other questions? No? Should we move on? Yep. Okay. So moving on to the topic of today is journey of the soul. And when it comes to journey of the soul, it goes through 5 stages in life. You're going to go through 5 stages. The first stage was known as the arwah, life before conception. Okay. The second stage is the stage we're at now, which is dunya. The third stage is barzakh, which is the intermediate realm. Okay. The fourth stage is qiyamah, judgment day, and that's what I want to concentrate on today. And the fifth one is khulud, which is the fire and the garden when we're going to be in our permanent abode. So it's either going to be in paradise or it's going to be in hell. That's the fifth stage. Yeah, khulud. Khulud. Now, I need to apologize because we only decided this last week that we're going to do a topic. I've been busy all week with other stuff, and I've only had literally yesterday evening to go through. So I probably won't be able to deliver how I want to deliver, but inshallah we'll try our level best. And if you got questions, forgive me for the shortfall. Obviously, it's an important topic, and we'll have a quick go, and then we'll see how it goes or something. It's no excuse, and I can say I've been busy, but need to organize myself. Okay, so first stage is which is life before conception. Okay, and the first life begins with God's creation of Adam, upon whom with peace, and the trusting of his progeny. So he's represented almost what they're going to come from him to his blessed loins, both the people of the right and those of the left, namely the people of the two fistfuls. So all good, all those that are destined to go into paradise, and all that they're destined to go into hellfire, all are born into the loins of Prophet Adam alayhi salam. And then they're brought out from Prophet Adam alayhi salam's loins all at once to take the covenant. And this is the important one that you've heard so many times, the covenant, where all souls were gathered. All souls were gathered, and all souls were gathered, and the covenant was taken. They reckon on Newton Lordship. I'm just gonna come out with the every now and then I'm going to come out with Quran ayahs and hadiths wherever possible, because he explains better than obviously me. When your Lord brought forth from the children of Adam, from their loins, their seed, and made them testify of themselves, he said, "Am I not your Lord?" They said, "Yea, we testify." That was lest you should say on the day of rising of this, we were unaware. So there's no excuse for you. You said, "Yes, you are my Lord." We all said this, "You are my Lord." We were all there in the gathering. Okay, we all said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Lord, so we can't deny that. Okay. It's an interesting one actually, and this is one of the teachers mentioned this, and I find it quite good when we're talking about Mawlid, because there's two gatherings that took place. One was when everyone was called upon, the souls. The second one was when only the prophets were called, and that's when they said that you will follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam if he came in your time. You would have to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam if he came in your time to the prophets. And then when we talk about Mawlids, he says you've got a general gathering, and then your Mawlid, which is specific gathering, which is special gathering when we're praising the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's what the second gathering of the prophets were, almost, to turn around and tell of the rank of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's what we do when it comes to Mawlid. We're talking about the rank of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in that case, don't argue about why someone hasn't come, etc. That's a special gathering. If you got an invite for it, you get an invite for it. If you didn't get an invite for it, you don't get an invite for it. Yeah. Covenant, we talk about, we all said yes at that point because we had seen our Lord and we were all high. Yes. And now later on we think again, well, what have we got ourselves into? Because no one else wanted to take this responsibility. Humans, because we're fools, we took the responsibility. Yes, we're the ones who are doing what we're doing here. The animals, the mountains, etc. No one else wants to take the responsibility of this. This big responsibility that's been brought upon us. It has been related that when God took them all out of Adam's loins, the angels saw that they had filled all the plains and the rough places, and they said, "O Lord, the world will not suffice them." But he said, "I am creating death." As they said, then they will never be happy in life. And he said, "I am creating hope." So when everything was brought about, and they realized, well, wait a minute, this covers all the area. And that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yes, but they're not going to live all their life. I'm going to create death. I'm thinking, well, they're going to think, well, they're not going to be happy about that. Why death? Then I'm going to create hope. And we're going to talk about a lot of things as we go along in that. The one thing that I want to touch upon here now is the soul. And there was I covered this when we covered the Quran module, and the Prophet ﷺ came back and said, "I'm a prophet," and the Quraysh would wanted to prove him wrong all the time, and they said, they decided, how can we prove him wrong? So they went off to the Jews, and they said, look, this person's come, and this person obviously in our community, he's claiming that he's a prophet. So what do we do? And they said, ask him 3 questions. ask him 3 questions, and then you'll prove that if he's a prophet or not. So the 3 questions, the first one was about the ruler, the just ruler who ruled east and west. Yeah, and this is all coming about to the Surah Al-Kahf. And then they talked about the people of the cave. And the third one was asking about the soul. And the question was, if he answers about the soul, that means he's a false prophet. Okay. And then they asked the question to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ, okay, come to me tomorrow, I'll give you the answer. And he goes away into his house. Tomorrow comes, nothing. Because the Prophet ﷺ was waiting for revelation. If the Prophet ﷺ had given the answer straight away, people would have said he's making this up. But this was to prove that this actual revelation is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I think I went into quite detail when we covered the Quran module about this. First day passed, second day passed, third day, fourth, fifth, sixth, continued, 15th. And that's when the Prophet ﷺ come out. And people were camping outside. They thought, yes, we got him now. He hasn't got the answers. After the 15th day, that's when he come out, and this is when the ayahs were revealed. But actually, the ayah for this one, the soul, that's revealed in different. And there's the opinion that it was revealed twice. And they ask you about the soul. Say the soul is one of the commands of my Lord, and you are not given aught of knowledge but a little. And the interesting part is that last part, that you are not given knowledge but a little. So a little is good enough for us. We'll take that, and we'll make of it whatever we can. And there's 2 types, obviously. There's the creation and the command. The first one, those things that are created by the command of Allah, be and it is, via a process, i.e. it's comfortable and order, takbir and tawheed, birth, creation, etc. That's the first part. And the second one is those created from the command of Allah, be, and it's just brought into existence. And the body is the first one, which is be, and then through a process is created, where the soul is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just saying be, and it's gone from non-existence into existence. That's it. There's no process of how the soul is created, etc. You understand what I'm trying to get to here? You've got a body here that is created in some way. Birth is given, and in the Quran it mentioned about how a child is formed in the mother's womb, etc. So that is again being created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's gone through a process. Whereas the soul is just be, and it's gone from non-existence into existence. That's it. When it comes to the soul, the windows to the soul are your ears and your eyes. Whatever goes through them goes straight to the soul. So that's why you need to be careful about what you see, what you hear, because that's impacting your soul. If you sleep a lot, your soul will be heavy. And so you need to make a lot of dhikr to remove the heavy soul. Okay, and linking back to sleeping as well, bad dreams, don't tell people bad dreams. If you've had a bad dream, you wake up, you spit over your left shoulder, and you say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Okay, that's what you do. Don't tell people a bad dream, because you don't want it to come true. So you follow that process, and inshallah you'll be fine. A clean soul, praise Allah. And the praise Allah is not for the reward of getting reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's just for thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Reading your fard prayer is the bare minimum you can do. It's like scraping from the bottom of the barrel. That's just thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're here, nothing. Don't expect any reward that I pray my fard prayers. Okay? You got the heating thing? Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm overrunning a lot. I set my target on, I said about up until 8 o'clock, I want to cover the other aspects so we can move on to Judgment Day. But let's see how we go. So dunya, I'm not going to talk too much about it. Obviously, you're delivered from your mother's womb up until you die. That's what the dunya part is. So we moved from the first one, which was the arba, we moved to the second level, which is dunya, which we're on at the moment. Okay? Try to picture this. The reason why we talk about journey of the soul, try to picture the 5 stages. And for us, the most important stage is the dunya stage. And that's a small part of it. And think of everything else, really. And we forget about everything else. Okay? And the third stage is death. And which is the barzakh. And this is the point of when you die up until resurrection, to Judgment Day. So this is known as the level is known as the barzakh, which is death in itself. Okay, and I'm just going to talk again a bit on this, the journey of the soul. The angel of death will take you, who has been entrusted with you, then to your Lord you will be returned. This Quran says, death is the first part of the journey from this life to the hereafter. The Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said the grave is first abode of the hereafter. If one passes through it safely, what follows it will be easier. See, this is important here. It's not a matter of you pass through and that's it, we're done and dusted. If you pass through the grave and within the grave safely, it means everything else will be easier for you. If not, that which follows will be more terrifying for you. So a person would straight away, you think, you know what, if I answer the questions, I'm done. I'm going Jannah. There's no two ways about it. But there's still going to be, you're still going to be questioned, etc. Everything, the processes are going to go through on Judgment Day. It just means things have been made a lot easier for you, because don't forget, you get punished in your grave, which I'm going to touch upon a bit later. Okay, that's the important part here. Dying may be subject to various kinds of temptation, and may God protect us. And it is therefore recommended that people who are present reciting Quran in abundance. I'm just going to see. I'm sure I've talked about this, but okay. Okay, let me just talk generally about it rather than just reading off this. I'm going to talk generally about it. Hopefully, I'll get through it a lot faster. Barzakh is known by different names. One is the realm of the grave, and the other is the realm of the horn trumpet, because when the horn and trumpet is then blown, then that's when everything gets destroyed, and that's it. Everyone is a Barzakh. Okay, we'll touch upon that. So when the soul leaves body, two angels raise the soul. When the angels raise the soul, the angels of Allah descend upon the believer in the time of death in their grave and at the resurrection to bring about the tranquility and security for them for the torments of the hereafter. So when they raise the soul, if you had good names in this world, good nicknames, yeah, you'll be called by those good nicknames. Yeah, if you had these bad boy nicknames, you're not going to be called by that. Yeah, don't worry about that. A wretched person will be called by bad names, and they'll make announcements. So and so is coming. So and so is coming. And the veil will be lifted. So as soon as you die, this is what I'm talking about. Immediately dying. Yeah, immediately dying. This is what's happening. The veil will be lifted, and you'll be able to see the other realms. You will be able to see angels, etc. The angels take you, but not really sure how they take you, but they fly you to Jerusalem. And this is the famous opinion, actually, that everyone has to go to Jerusalem, because it's like the Prophet ﷺ went to Jerusalem. The entry to the next realm is at Jerusalem. That's where the door is. That's where the entrance is. That's where the stairs are for you to then go into. Then it's like a portal, and the portal is in Jerusalem there, and that's where you got to go. And there's a door there, according to many teachers' opinion, that connect this world to the celestial realm. No other way to get there. There's no other way to get there. That's the door. That's your portal to get through. And pious souls go towards his Lord past the different levels. Some opinion is to meet the Prophet. So some are. This is okay. Coming back to, I'm going to touch upon it. At this point, what's happened to your body? Where's your body? Your body is probably in the fridge, or it's probably getting washed, etc. Your soul is going on a journey. Okay. Your soul is going on the journey, but your body is there, it's probably getting washed or whatever it is in the fridge. And the most famous opinion is that from there, you take that journey, you go through the different heavens. When we talk about 7 heavens, etc., or the 7 layers, it's not like a what they call cake, and you've got a icing cake. You got 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, 4. It's not like that. It's just generally, I don't know why people think of it like that. It's layers. It can be all over. Yeah. But you go through different 7 levels, you go to meet your Lord, okay? And some say, some opinions is that you actually meet prophets as well. This is what the soul is doing all this time. The soul will still have some kind of connection to the body. Because remember, when you go to sleep, your soul leaves your body, but it still has some connection and it wanders around. When you go to sleep, generally, your soul leaves your body. It still has some kind of connection, but it's wandering around. That's why when you wake up, you make the dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the ability to, you woken you up after death. In the meaning of the dua when you wake up. Alhamdulillah, yeah, I got the right one. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's the one. That thanks for waking me up after death. I've become alive. I've become alive after death. That's what it means. You've died. When you go to sleep, you actually die in some sense. And going to sleep is probably the only thing that science or the scientists, etc., haven't been able to discover in terms of what it's all about. It's dream world, and when you go to sleep, what happens to you? They try their level best, but they can't figure it out. Yeah. And well, like I mentioned, the soul is always connected to the body. That's why even in the grave, when you've been punished, you still feel it because the soul is still connected. And the soul returns. So after all this journey, etc., the soul returns back to the person once they've been buried, and the two angels will come next to him and ask the questions. But once the person's buried, two angels will then. That's when the two angels come. So there's, it's the way you imagine it here. When the footsteps of the people can be heard walking away from the grave, that's when the angels come. Okay. And this is a weak hadith. I'm going to mention it, and it's important as well. And it's recommended that this is done. A person should stay after the burial and call the person's name, saying so and so, son of, but mention their mother's name. So and so, son of, but mention the mother's name, not the father's name, the mother's name. And then you answer the questions. In the three questions, answer the questions. The Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord, the religion, Islam, this person is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was the Prophet, and we believe him is the last messenger. You're answering the questions here. You are answering the question at the grave of a person after just being buried. And Munkar and Nakir hold hands and say, we don't need to sit with this one. He has been answered. So the questions have already been answered. Although it's a weak hadith, the scholars say still do it. So what's the problem? Do it. What's going to happen to you? If it helps the person. Some say that you should stick around. If a person has some comfort, someone's around. Once he hears your footsteps going away, he's there alone. And you got angels coming. Okay. The squeezing of the grave, both good and souls and bad souls feel the squeezing of the grave. When it comes to good soul, squeezing of the grave is, like you got a mother and you got a naughty child who's always all over the place, and you grab the child and you want to just give him milk or something, or just make him go to sleep. You grab the child and put him in jelly, and then you grab them and tight. Yeah, like this. That's what the squeezing of the grave is for a good soul. So you're squeezing your child, but you're not squeezing them to hurt them, just to control them. And that's what the squeezing of the grave is for, the good soul. The bad soul, obviously, wretched soul, out of fear, they're going to be squeezed so much that their ribs are cracked and everything. You've got, what's that movie?
I might know.
Dishan will definitely know it. Indiana Jones, when the walls start coming together.
Pyramid one. Mummy.
I don't know why. Basically, the walls coming together. That's why it's all about. It's just walls coming together to crush you. That's why it's for the wretched soul. When it comes to the wretched soul, when it comes to the questioning of the wretched soul, they won't be able to speak. Like sometimes you like proper shocked and all that, and nothing can come out of your mouth. That's how it's going to be for the wretched soul. They won't be able to speak. So Munkar and Nakir are the questioners, and are black and blue in color and large in size. And I think I had a hadith. I'm going to quickly read the hadith. It's a good description of it. Okay, so just listen to this then, yeah? Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, when the dead body of a Muslim is buried in the grave, guys, can you just settle down because they want to listen to you, yeah? When the dead body of a Muslim is buried in the grave, there appear before him two angels, both having black faces and blue eyes. So this is a proper, like, what they call scary movie, yeah? Black faces and blue eyes. One is called Munkar and the other is called Nakir. And they say what you have to say about this person, and he will say, he is the servant of Allah and his messenger. I bear testimony to the fact that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is messenger. And they both will say, we already knew that you would say this. Then his grave will expand it to the extent of 4,900 square cubic feet, and it will be illuminated, and it will be said to him, go to sleep. And he will say, I intend to go to my family in order to inform them. And they would say, go to sleep like the sleep of a newly wedded bride, whom no one awakens but one who is dearest to her amongst his family members. Only Allah would resurrect him from his resting place. If he, the dead, were a hypocrite, he will say, I heard people making a statement pertaining to the oneness of Allah and the Apostle of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I said the same, but I don't know what it is. And they would say, we already knew that you would say this. And the earth will be told to press him, and he will press him till his ribs are clasped together. and he will not be relieved of the torment till Allah resurrects him from his resting place. So you got the three questions, obviously, that I already mentioned. Your Lord, Ma Rabbuka, Ma Dinuka, and who do you think of this man? So Ma Rabbuka, your Lord, Ma Dinuka, Ma Deen. And who do you think? There's two opinions here. One is that, also two opinions. One is that, what about those that came before the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? So some say that their prophets will be brought in front of them. What do you make of this person? Okay. So the famous of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will actually be brought in front of them. And this is one of the reasons why we look forward to dying, because we're going to have the vision of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, definitely, because the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be brought in front of us. Okay. And there's so famous narrations of Wali Allah and a person who actually, there was one, and my teacher told the story of this man who had cancer. And you know what? I still haven't reached what we should be reaching here, but never mind. I'm going very slow. What I'm trying to point out here. I'm trying to speed, but I'm still going slow, way behind time. He had cancer, and obviously he was dying, and he was a bad person, but then he obviously changed himself, he started reading, etc. And just before he was about to die, he had a dream. Of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came in his dream and said, "Don't worry, I'll be there to hold your hand, comfort you." Amazing, absolutely amazing something. And another thing actually about when it comes to dreams, even if you have a vision of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, don't turn around and start boasting and start telling everyone, I saw the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in my dream, because then he won't come again. Yeah, don't boast about stuff like that. Okay, so when we've talked about if they're going to succeed or not, and the kind of scientist opinion is that a window will be opened and then closed of if they've succeeded. So the window to be open of that, this is your place in paradise, or Jannah, but then it'll be closed, kind of thing, and they'll feel at ease. And remember I mentioned in the hadith that the person says, "Oh, let me go. Let me go. I want to go and tell my family that I've succeeded." They're going to be worried, because this person is going to be so happy, overwhelmed. He's answered the questions. He's not going to know. He says, "Let me go and tell my family." And they're going to say, "No, you can't go. You can't go. Go to sleep. Go to sleep." Yeah. One of the positions is that it continually they ask the questions. They continue to ask the question. They keep repeating the questions to the guy who's in past it. Keep repeating the question until a voice will come, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala will say, "He has succeeded. He's answered the questions. Leave him." Yeah. They said, "Look, we're just testing you." Okay. So in terms of the good person, a window is lying down at the top. A window will be open, showing them the place in paradise, and then close and say, "Go to sleep," and they'll have the most beautiful sleep. Another position is that the doors will be open, the window will be open, it'll be left open for them. And in terms of the the wretched person, the window will be open below them, and that will definitely be left open. And this is your place. Okay, and then they're going to have all that punishment coming about when you have snakes coming. There's going to be an angel specifically. All the angel had to do was actually I'll talk about it a bit later. Yeah, let me talk about it. Let me cover a few more things, and then I'll talk about a few of the punishments. But I think it's important to mention the punishments as well. Okay, I don't want it to be a nice little conversation taking place here. There's a position actually that there's a fourth question, and the fourth question is about how did you come to know of this? So how did you answer the question? How did you come to know about this? So practice without knowledge is dangerous. So what did you do? How did you come to know that? Oh, I read the Quran. I studied in classes. Because what we study here is all from the Quran, don't forget. So this is what you're studying the Quran as well, aren't you? The monsters even try to attack the good soul. It's an important part here. The monsters actually try to attack the good soul. So when we talk about, you read Surah Al-Mulk before going to sleep, Surah Al-Mulk will come and protect you. When the snake tries to attack, Surah Al-Mulk will come in front and protect you. You read the Quran will protect you. You know, there's so many things will protect you, because even though you're a good soul, the monsters will still try to attack you. So are you prepared for it? That's the thing. There's another part here, and I'm not going to go too much into detail because we're very behind on time, but it's about proof of, can a person in the grave hear you? And there's countless hadiths of the non-Muslim passes his brother's grave and gives salam, that Allah returns his soul, and he replies. Returning soul doesn't mean here that your soul is going to come back, etc. It just means he's going to give him attention. The Prophet standing above Abu Jahal's pit and says, "Have you got what your Lord had said for you?" And as Umar says, "Can he hear you?" That he can hear better than you guys. the other thing is souls meet now with others, if not here. So when souls meet in the barzakh, and they say, "Oh, there was so and so that passed away, where is he?" And they'll know where that person is. Because if he's not in the barzakh, what does it mean he is? He's in Sijin, so he's basically in torment, punishment. And that's a hadith in Tirmidhi. Quickly, a few things on the punishment, actually. The torment of the grave. The following are sections from various hadiths discussing the punishment of the grave. A door is opened toward the fire, and then an angel strikes him with a club, a blow that is heard by all Allah's creation, except for mankind and jinn. And this is the scream that people can hear. That all Allah's creation, apart from man and jinn, so animals, etc. You know, when you have animals going past and they probably start howling, or dogs are barking, they can hear the punishment that's taking place in the grave. An angel is just put there to smack a person's head, and he's just screaming out. This is one of the things. He is told, "Go to sleep like a person bitten by insects and snakes." The earth is then commanded to contract, and it is contracts until his ribs break. Thus his punishment continues until he is raised. A blind, deaf, and dumb person is appointed for him. He carries in his hand a sledgehammer that if he struck a mountain, it would turn to dust. A sledgehammer, if he struck a mountain, the mountain would just bring to dust. And imagine that getting smacked. You're going to get smacked with that. Allah then restores him, and he is struck again. He emits a scream that is heard by all creation. So you're going to get destroyed by this hammer. But then Allah will recreate you again, and then you get hit again, and you get destroyed again, and then recreated and hit again and destroyed again. It's going to continue. Okay? Sorry? I've just told you basically, you me screaming. This is only for the bad people here, yeah? So the point of this is, right, we're going to be on the good side, inshallah. Yeah? Eh? Don't worry about it. Tell them to come and join in. Alhamdulillah. I'll cover that actually. I'm going to cover it. When we go to Judgment Day, I've got about that, what we're going to do. Okay. Okay, now, 45 minutes later, we're onto the section where we should have, basically, that's what this lesson was about. Qiyamah, Judgment Day. If you just settle down now, I've covered the bad parts. That's it. I might do one more part that is a bit bad, but apart from that, that's it. All right, guys, settle down a bit, yeah? Settle down. So Qiyamah, Judgment Day, and then we will talk about leading up to Judgment Day. You have many signs. I'm not going to talk about those because everyone's seen them. I mean, the obvious ones, Tower of, what's it called? It's Sauron, isn't it? Tower of Sauron.
Where's that?
And the Holding Mountain, Tower of Sauron. So the towers will be bigger than mountains. You got a big famous tower in Makkah, Tower of Sauron, with the eye there. The clock tower, yes, it was a joke. Sauron, Lord of the Rings? Sauron? Yeah, with the eye. Okay. One of the hadiths was actually holes in mountains. One of the hadiths, holes in mountains. If you sit down, if you go to Makkah now, they built all these highways and they put holes through the mountains to go through. It's almost like they wanted to stick to the hadith properly. Yeah. This is a sign of Judgment Day. The Prophet ﷺ spoke about the internet, which a lot of people missed, and named it Ad-Dajjal Atlasis, Atlantic Dajjal, which means the worldwide Dajjal. Worldwide Dajjal. That's what the meaning of the word is. Ad-Dajjal Atlasi. Father talking to son from other parts of the world and seeing him, Skype. You know, these are all signs of actually, the famous one of the drums, a person dancing with drums on their head. You're thinking, that's a bit stupid, person dancing with drums on their head. What they're called, those big headphones, is it called Beats, isn't it? You see, what do they look like? Exactly, drums. And see, these are hadiths to the word. These hadiths these are signs of the Judgment Day. And this is exactly what's happening. Often in guys, you just settle down, yeah? You know, if I have to keep stopping to tell you off, right, then we won't get through a lot of the stuff. Often in the Quran al-Kareem, when Day of Judgment is mentioned, it's mentioned in past tense. And there's two opinions on this. The first is that it's mentioned in the past tense because it's definitely going to happen. Judgment Day is definitely going to happen. It's certain. The second one is for Allah, it has already happened. It's all in one moment. There's no time for Allah. So Allah already, it's already happened for Allah. One awliya said that, is it the case that you're here looking at your future, or you're there looking at your past? All this kind of mind kill, isn't it? It's kind of wild. So is it you're here in this world now? Because don't forget, your entire life will be presented to you on Judgment Day, but it's not said how is it going to be presented to you. Is it going to be a big projector screen put up and then say, here's your life? We don't know. So are you in this world looking to the future, or actually are you already in the future and this is just your past you're looking into? Okay? But it's a bit of fun and games here. That's what I said. So everything will be projected. I'm going to mention that Judgment Day. So when you got the questions and all that, your entire life will be presented to you. And I'm going to talk about that a bit later. Yeah, go on. Isn't it more about, I think it's more that it's possible. It's that you've had this dream, you've had a dream about it, haven't you? That's what it is. And that's what I mean, you just thought about it. It's more about that. I haven't looked into it, if I'm honest with you. I don't want to answer it because I haven't looked into it in much detail. But there is definitely, I think it's more dream related than actually happening. So I haven't looked into it. If you want, I'll look into it, inshallah. Yeah. You guys okay? Sure? You want to stand up and stretch your legs? If you want to stand up and stretch your legs, I'll let you do it. You got 30 seconds. Anyone needs to stand up, stretch their legs, 30 seconds. All right, come on then. Let's carry on. So do you know when this might seem, what I just mentioned this about, are we looking into the future, the past, etc. Don't forget, parallel world and all that, it's possible. The Prophet ﷺ described how he was praying, and the grapes of paradise were poured in front of him. And he reached out to grab them, but then he pulled his hand back. So he actually put his hand into paradise. Okay? When the Hanafi position of, what was his name, that ruler? I forgot the name. The just ruler. I can't remember. Sorry, I forgot the name. I should have known. I should know that. So the Prophet ﷺ read the janazah of him. He passed away in a different country, and the Hanafi position is that actually the janazah was brought in front of the Prophet ﷺ. So the space folded for the Prophet ﷺ, and it was brought close to him. Same thing with Miraj, when Masjid al-Aqsa was brought in front of the Prophet ﷺ. What happened? Space was folded, so it brought in front of the Prophet ﷺ. When the Prophet ﷺ would walk, people used to think it was almost like he would walk slowly, but it was like he was running, because ground was folded up for him. So this is all possible. Parallel, this is all possible, Okay, moving on to resurrection. You know what we might do? It's up to you guys. We can either just stop at 1:30, or we can go on for a bit for me to finish.
No, break.
We'll see how it goes. Put it this way. I made myself rough one-liners for today. I did it quickly yesterday. Today, I'm only halfway through yet. Okay, guys, settle down. Let's carry on then. Okay, can we carry on? Okay, moving on to resurrection. Majority say the trumpet is shaped like a horn. An angel Israfil will blow into the trumpet. And the position is, the scholars say, and the scholars say that there's a position is that the trumpet is blown 3 times. Guys, settle down, please. Yeah. The trumpet is blown 3 times. Some say it's 2, some 3 times. So first is the blow of terror. This will be the first one. The second is the blow of death. This will finish all that remain on earth. And the third is the blow of resurrection. Okay. And some say that the first and second one is the same. So when the trumpet is blown, everything is destroyed. Everything is destroyed. Okay. The only thing who will, and then that's when Angel Israfil's soul will be taken as well. And the only thing remaining will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only thing remaining Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone will be, everyone would have died. The only thing remaining, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He says, it's almost like now, you guys, what you say now, who's the creator? So that would be the only thing to. And then some say that the time between the second and the third trumpet, or like the first and the third trumpet being blown, well, depends on what position. Let's just stick to 2 because that's the most famous one that we heard. Yeah. So the time between the first and the second trumpet being blown, when we get resurrected, is 40 years. That's some position. Okay. So the earth will be completely flattened. Everything, mountains, everything will be flattened. And it'll be spread out like, like a leather, the hadith mentions about like the word uses a leather rug. It'll be spread out like a leather rug. Okay. Allah has created in every human a bone, which is referred to in a hadith literature as ajab al-dam, or the I don't know, I'm not good at science, I tell you the truth. Tip of the sacrum. Anyone heard of the sacrum? I was rubbish at science. Come on, look at these science people here.
It's kind of an
It's a bone. It's a bone. Sacrum. And it's the one bone. It's the one bone that does not decay. One bone that does not decay. That's the only thing that will be left. I don't know where it is. I'll find out. I should have found out actually. If your body is not preserved in grave, that does not necessarily mean. So when you say your body is preserved, if your body is not preserved, someone digs up your grave, that doesn't really mean that you're a bad person. Not necessarily. Sacrum, yeah. Lower back, I think, is linked to lower back somewhere. This is fine. That's it. I didn't want to say that when make it. I thought it was something to do with the back, but I didn't want to make a fool of myself. Okay, guys, set it down. So what happens is it's going to rain for the word they use is 40. It's going to rain for 40. We don't know whether that's 40 days, 40 years, 40,000 years, because it's going to rain. It's going to rain so much. It's like it's going to rain, and it's going to be like proper high rain, floods. That's how much it's going to rain. Yeah, more than Noah's Ark rain. This is what I'm talking about after the trumpet's blown. Yeah, and when the resurrection starts, it's going to rain so much, because don't forget, we're all in the ground. And what's going to happen? We're going to be created like a flower, or plants have grown. That's how we're going to come out of the earth, and we're going to grow out of the earth. I'm just going to quickly read a bit on this. So mentioned that Allah has created in every human a bone, which I mentioned. The Prophet ﷺ said, indeed, in the human is a bone that the earth cannot consume, and from it mankind will be recreated. And I'm just going to quickly mention the process, which I've already described. Allah will command for it to rain for 40 years, months, or days, we don't know. When the water falls upon this bone that Allah has made to survive, Allah commands for the recreation process to begin, and mankind is recreated. After which the angel is commanded to blow into the trumpet the blow of resurrection, and all will rise. The interesting part here is how there's a hadith of narrated by Sayyidina Aisha that the Prophet ﷺ said, when we are resurrected, we're all resurrected naked, okay, uncircumcised. And she says, oh, how shameful, oh, what shame. And we're going to be amongst each other, and we're going to be naked, what shame. And the Prophet ﷺ says, no one's going to be worried about what the other person is. Do you know why this is mentioned here? is mentioned to make you understand how much pressure and how much worry people are going to have. So you're going to be amongst people, right, naked, but you're not going to be, that's not going to be on your mind. You're going to be so worried and stressed and fearful of what's happening, okay? And uncircumcised is mentioned because you just mentioned about our body. Your body will be recreated. Your body will be recreated. So when, like I mentioned about plant growing, that's how your body will grow out from that bone out of the earth, and you'll be recreated. So we don't know how long that recreation will take place, okay? People will gather on the day of judgment upon earth, which will be white with a tint of redness, like white bread, flower bearing no sign of residence. I.e., the earth will no longer look like it once did. And the famous position is that where we gather together. So the first, you know, I was gonna, there's some real nice hadith, etc. on here, but we're running short on time. So I'm gonna have to cut it and cut it short a bit. So I'm going to summarize it a bit. When we resurrected, the first person to be resurrected, the first person to rise will be the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And you're going to have with him Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq and Hazrat Umar Farooq. One amazing sight, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam rising. And she said, whenever I imagine this, is amazing, you know, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam rising, and left and right, he's got Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Umar Farooq. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be the first to rise, and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will tell everyone to, and after the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then the Baqiya, so the place Baqi, people of there will rise. So one narration is that, because you think, well, what about all the bad people? One narration is when the Dajjal stamp his feet, all the wretched bones within Baqi, so those that bad souls, will actually be thrown out. Another narration is when people are buried and the wretched souls, they are thrown out straight away. So there's only good souls that are left in Baqi. And then the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will command the people not to move from there, because he will wait for the people of Makkah, specifically his wife, Sayyidina Khadija, to come and be with him. So he's going to tell them all, wait here until the people of Makkah arrive. The Prophet will have Buraq. The Prophet himself will have Buraq. We already spoke about night journey. The Sahaba will have camels or horses. All prophets will have animals. They will not walk. Okay. Just quickly, I'm going to write, just talk about a few things. Each person will be accompanied by his recording angels who had taken down all his actions in the worldly life. And every soul comes along with its driver and a witness. That's the Quran ayah. Every soul comes along with its driver and a witness. Evil deeds committed in the world by people who died unrepentant will become manifest upon them. Users, for instance, will see their stomachs grow so large that as they walk, they are constantly overbalanced. This is interest, you know, interest. Overbalanced by their weight and stumble over. Adulterers will see their genitals swell so large that they will have to drag them along on the ground. Alcohol drinkers will come to the gathering with their cups in their hands. Liars, backbiters, and slanderers will see their tongues lengthen until they reach their chests. Those who withheld their zakat will have their money made manifest in the shape of large snakes coiled around them. The arrogant will be brought in the form of small ants, trodden both by the good and the depraved. And so shall it continue. So this is Quran ayah. The guilty will be known by their marks and will be seized by the forelocks. One thing actually I just quickly remembered, when we talk about the grave, one of the narrations is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you feel like, and this is for the good person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you feel like it's Maghrib time. And the person, because the person, what happens, they sit up cross-legged, when the angels come. And the person's going to say, oh, hold up, the good person, the good soul's going to say, oh, wait up, it's Maghrib time, let me pray. And the angel's going to say, no, it's not Maghrib time, let's carry on. And this is one of the things that if you're not in a habit of praying, how is the prayer going to protect you? The wretched person is going to know if it's Maghrib time or not. You know, so that's why I think prayer is really important. And if anything you're going to take away from here, guys, don't miss prayer. Continue on prayer. That's the kind of basis for then you can build upon. Okay. There will be three groups of people: those who will ride, those who will walk on their feet, and those who will walk on their faces. Mu'adh ibn Jabal, may God be pleased with him, said, I once asked, O Messenger of God, what of saying of God the High and the Majestic, on the day when the horn is to be blown, and you should come in hosts? And the Prophet, may blessings and peace be upon him, said, O Mu'adh, you ask about a formidable thing. Then he wept abundantly and said, 10 different kind of people of my nation will be gathered in groups distinct from the groups of the Muslims. Their forms will have been changed. Some 10 different types of people. Some will have the forms of monkeys. Okay, so those who resemble monkeys, they are the slanderers. Those who have the forms of pigs are the people of ill-gotten, illicit, and unlawful taxed money. Those whose heads and faces are beneath them are those who consume usury. Those, and the fourth one, the blind are those who ruled tirelessly, the tyrant rulers. The fifth, the deaf and the dumb are those who are proud of their actions. Don't be proud of actions. That's one thing that definitely, you're not going to enter Jannah if you're one of those that are too proud. You will not enter Jannah. If you're too proud of yourself, you will not enter Jannah. I'll say it 3 times that it's important. Don't be proud of, I'm better than someone else. Sixth, those who chew their tongues are the ulama and judges who conduct deferred from their words. Allah. Number 7, those whose hands and feet are cut off are those who injure their neighbors. Number 8, the people crucified on trunks of fire are those who frequently denounce people to the authorities. 9, those fouler that those who enjoyed passion and pleasure but withheld God's due in their wealth. And the final one, and those who wear the robes are the arrogant, the boastful, and the conceit related by Al-Qurtubi. Okay. Quickly, where we're going to gather. And the opinion is that we're going to gather Damascus. So there's a few positions here. One is Damascus. Sham is mentioned as well. And there's also opinion of Arafat. And the scholars have brought it together and say that it will start in Damascus. It definitely will be Damascus. That's definitely, because that's where the Prophet ﷺ, they say the Prophet ﷺ went there. It's Syria, I'm talking about, the current Syria. The Prophet ﷺ went there on the night journey, so his blessed feet could touch the ground there. Okay? And that will definitely be, and they say that it'll start from there and you will end in Arafat. And don't forget, you're going to have big gathering together. Okay? And that's where we're going to be. So children who died as children, so they didn't hit puberty, they will be giving water to their parents. Okay? One generation that's stillborns, those that are stillborn, will pull their parents out of hellfire with the umbilical cord. A sound of this, a man is being dragged and his daughter stands in front. This is so many narrations, beautiful narrations are given of Judgment Day. You can go on and on. A man is being dragged to the hellfire and his daughter stands in front of the angels to stop them. And she just stands there. And obviously angels can't do anything because she's Masum, she's innocent. Angels can't do anything and they say to her to move, but she won't move. No. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, put him in paradise. So his daughter takes him to paradise. There's amazing when daughters, the amount that the daughters will do for you on Judgment Day. Then Aisha asked about children that died because of them, people enter Jannah. So she asked that, the Prophet ﷺ said, if 3 children died, they'll take them to Jannah. Or what about 2? If 2 died, they'll take them to Jannah. Or what about 1? If 1 died, they'll take them to Jannah. What about if none? And the Prophet ﷺ, even still, I'll be enough for them. Okay, so these are all, we got to thank Sayyidah Aisha for continually reducing it and making it easy for us. Faces will be black or white based on how you're in this world. Would you say about one of the things that will glow, and I'll mention it a bit later as well, but on the Pursilat is it's going to be pitch black and things are going to glow. That's truly telling how good a person you are. And one of the things is this, that a person who dies with grey hair, light will illuminate from that. So our teacher, when he was talking about this, he says, for those that wear dye, good luck to you. Those that wear black dye, good luck to you. In the Hanafi school, there's 2 positions. There are only 2 cases where you can wear black dye on your beard, One is if you're going for jihad, just to show that you're still young and you can fight. And the second one is if your wife says, or if your wife thinks you're Buddha, and to save your marriage, that's the time you could do it. Apart from that, no, you can't do it. Okay? Sayyidina Aisha mentioned, will people remember their beloved? The Prophet ﷺ says, yes, except for 3 places. So people will remember, so your friends, etc., your beloveds and all that, people will remember them except for 3 places. When scales are laid out, when book is given, and when you cross the bridge. And those points, every man is for themselves. Yeah, there's no 2 ways about it. Every man is for themselves. And then you got the Ashab al-Yamin entering without questioning. You've got the Sahaba, Prophet ﷺ said 70,000 people will enter Jannah without questioning. And the Sahaba got down to only 70,000. The Prophet ﷺ, every one will take 70,000. So everyone, and there'll be another 70,000 with that. Yeah. Okay. It's up to you now. We're over the time. I can either carry on or we just leave it at that.
Carry on.
Or we can do is, if anyone needs to go, they can go, and we'll carry on for 10 minutes more. Is that okay?
It's only 10 minutes.
Yeah? Yes or no? If someone needs to go, they can go. That's fine, yeah? If you need to go, you go. We'll just carry on for 10 minutes more, inshallah. What I do is, if I turn and do this, I'm going to end up spending all next week's lesson on it as well. So what we'll just do is another 10 minutes, inshallah. If you need to go, by all means, you can go. Moving on to intercession. And this is amazing again. And you know what really gets to me, when people try questioning the Prophet ﷺ and we come out with all this, or you love the Prophet too much, etc. You're going to truly find out, the rank of the Prophet ﷺ on Judgment Day. So you're going to truly find out. Hell will be brought, that is, hell will be brought as a beast. Hell will be brought as a beast, and there'll be thousands of angels holding on. So there'll be thousands of chains on the beast, and each chain will have thousands of angels pulling back, and they still won't be pulling back the beast. This is hell. He's still going forward for the people, and the people are terrified. And hell is saying, I want my food. I want my food, the food I was promised. And he's heading towards the people, and people are terrified. And at that point, the Prophet ﷺ comes in front of hell and puts his hand out and says, stop. Stop, go back. At that point, he says, stop and go back. The kuffar will be wandering for thousands of years, and then they start going to each prophet. Oh, we heard of this prophet, so let's go to this prophet. Prophet Adam alayhi salam will say, nafsi, nafsi, only me, only me. This is how bad things are. All the prophets will, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be so angry, even the prophets will say, look, only me, I'm protecting myself, I'm protecting myself. They go to Prophet Adam alayhi salam. They go to all the prophets. So finally they end up on Prophet Isa alayhi salam, and Prophet Isa alayhi salam says, look, I can't help you. Go to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's when they go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he goes, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. Even at that point, remember, he goes to a place, only place to be elevated. It's called Maqam Mahmud. He goes to that place. Every Nabi was given a dua. Every Nabi was given a dua. That make a dua, and this is it. Every Nabi is given that dua. One dua. Prophet Adam salam used it for his tawbah. Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam had the kingdom. Prophet Musa alayhi salam asked to speak to God. And the Prophet, when the Sahaba asked about, oh, you Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, no, I'm saving my dua for my ummah. Every time, any scenario, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all who will worry about his ummah. He saved his dua for his ummah as well. Okay, and this is where he uses dua, and he makes sajda in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And some narrations say that he stays in sajda for over 100 years. That's some narrations. Okay, so he stays in sajda for so long, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, raise your head and ask, your intercession will be accepted. And this is the first part. This is his first intercession. His first intercession here, and this is not for anything else. This is for the day of judgment to start, because at this point, judgment day hasn't started yet. Okay, the reckoning, the questioning, etc. Let it start. People are terrified. The kuffar are saying, this is the point. The kuffar will say, you know what? Just send us into hellfire. We can't cope with it anymore. Just send us into the hellfire. This is the extreme it'll be, and this is when the intercession. This is when judgment day will start. The reckoning will start. And it doesn't start until the Prophet ﷺ asks for it. No other person can speak beforehand. I forgot to mention, no other person speaks until the Prophet ﷺ is the first one to speak. No one else can utter a word. And it's only when through the command of the Prophet ﷺ then it continues. The banner of the Prophet ﷺ is so tall, everyone can see it. Don't forget, you're going to all be gathered in an area, and the banner will be so tall, everyone can see it. Even the prophets will be under the banner of the Prophet ﷺ. And if you're under the banner of the Prophet ﷺ, you're saved. So when we talk about this wali Allah, etc., and you have this connection with them, our hope is that they'll be connected with the Prophet ﷺ, and that they'll remember us, and we'll be connected as well. Yeah, we're sinners. There's no chance we're going to get to the Prophet ﷺ, but we're hoping that this is a route for us, right? But it doesn't mean, actually, this doesn't mean like I'm going to sin all my life. and my sheikh's going to save me. You know, so like, no, you have to, because don't forget, when you make this pact with your sheikh, you have a certainty. This is what you need to do. You have your wird you have to follow, etc. Those are the conditions that you have to follow. But then you need to continue that connection, that relationship with you and your sheikh. There's no intercession for hisab, you will be accounted for it. Your book and hisab are different. So when it comes to intercession, the Prophet ﷺ will not intercede for you when it comes to your hisab. You will be questioned. Okay? So when it comes back to questioning, when your life is put in front of everyone, some, like I said, will go without any questioning. Some will be questioned but behind a veil, so no one else can see. And some will be questioned openly for everyone. And every single thing will you be questioned about. And the famous opinion is that Judgment Day will last 50,000 years. 50,000 years. And the opinion is that that's for the, the most wretched. It will take them up to 50,000 years to get through everything. Okay? Moving on is the pond. And the pond is about, after stones thrown at Taif to the Prophet ﷺ, the pond, Al-Kawthar, was gifted to the Prophet ﷺ. The angels surround the pond, so you can't get in. There'll be angels surrounding the pond. It's because, someone asked the Prophet ﷺ, where can I find you? He'll say, I'll be in 3 places: the pond, the bridge, or where the scales are. Because he's always there. He's looking to help people. Yeah? So he's the pond, because we'll be so thirsty. It's unbelievable how thirsty we will. And everyone will be trying to get into the pond, but there'll be angels all around. And the Prophet ﷺ will try to, tell, oh, what are you doing? Let them in. And the angels will say, even the believers, and the angels will say, you don't know what they did. You don't know what they did. After you went, you know what they did. And this, generally, the opinion is, you got the scales. The pond is actually after the scales and probably before the bridge. That's the most. It's got to be the case that it's before the bridge. Okay. And then you got the bridge that pulls it up. And the majority position is that the only way to Jannah is through hell. So there's 2 opinions here. One is that the bridge goes all the way through hell. So what it is right, you've got hell, but to get to Jannah, you have to go through hell. And one position is that the bridge will be through hell. And the other one, it'll be over it. And the shape will be like, it's like this. So it'll go like this, like that, and then like that. And opinion is that it takes 15,000 years to cross it. 5,000 to get up to there, 5,000 to go straight, 5,000 to go down. Okay. Thin as a hair and sharp as a sword. Imam Qurtubi mentioned that this is not literal meaning. It just means it's going to be very difficult. Thin as a hair, how amazing it's going to be. And I mentioned before as well, the bridge will be pitch black. The Prophet ﷺ will pass over easily, obviously, and the prophets, and based on how good you are, that's the speed it will take for you to cross over. And on the bridge, don't forget, there'll be angels, and the angels are there to push you over. Yeah, angels are there there's going to be hooks. Hooks are going to be thrown, and they're going to drag you into hellfire. Okay, and you know what? If anyone would want to make, obviously, a Hollywood movie, make it on Judgment Day. You got so much going on, but obviously we can't. It's haram, isn't it? So pitch black, getting through. People who pray in the masjid will pass over the bridge easy. There's so many narrations of how it will be easy for people. And then there's the opinion that there's actually 2 bridges. That's the main bridge. Then there's a second bridge, which is the small bridge. And this bridge is between hell and Jannah. Literally between hell and Jannah. That's where that bridge is. And this bridge also has angels. And the bridge has angels at 7 checkpoints. And this is it. This is the important part here now. You can go past the scales. Yeah? You can get water from the pond. You've got the bridge. You're covered. And this is where a lot of people stumble. Because at this bridge, the small bridge, there's 7 checkpoints with angels. And you have to pass those checkpoints. And the first one is belief. You might pass it. You're a strong belief. The second one is prayer. Yes, you prayed all the time, you pass it. The third one is fasting. You fasted during the month of Ramadan. The fourth is that you always gave zakat. The fifth is you didn't Hajj, pilgrimage. The sixth is bathing and ablution. The final one is where people mess up all the time. Mistreating people. This is where everyone gets undone. You can't pass that point until the person you mistreated turns up to that place and you actually resolve it. You know, like I say, let's have a handshake, let's resolve it and all that. That's the point where you have to resolve your differences. Until you don't resolve your differences, you cannot pass that 7th point, that 7th checkpoint. Okay? there's quickly, like, there's going to be those that are the good and bad deeds are going to be equal, and there's so many different categories that, you know, those that are martyred but they were bad in this world. So because they were martyred, there's no way they can ever enter hell. But because they've been bad in this world, there's no way they can enter Jannah. A lot of these, there's going to be certain things that's going to happen, and then eventually they'll enter Jannah. This is, we're to the end now, okay? We're to the end. Final thing now, yeah? The Prophet ﷺ entering Jahannam. So the Prophet ﷺ will enter Jahannam to bring people out. The Prophet ﷺ will not enter Jannah until all his people are in Jannah. He said he'll be the last one to enter. So he's going to go in, he's going to literally go into Jahannam and bring people out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him, say, go on into it, go get whoever you want. Go into Jannah, the fire is going to cool for him to bring people out. One person who has no good deeds, only the kalma, la ilaha illallah. And the Prophet ﷺ wants to also bring him out and intercede for him as well. It's the only intercession that's refused. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, God said, this is for me alone. Yeah? You got a story of a man going to Jannah. So this man is said, go to Jannah. The person goes to Jannah, he's crawling, he's battered and all that, goes to Jannah because he's been in hellfire for so long. And he goes, Allah, there's no space for me. He comes back and says, Allah, there's no space for me. He goes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, go back again. Goes again. There's no space for me. He goes back and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, go again. Third time he goes, take the mic. There's no space for me. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, okay, go the fourth time. Well, when he goes fourth time, he sees some space for him and he's entered Jannah. Remember, you can hold on to the fact that, yes, I'm going to eventually enter Jannah. But some say you will be thousands and thousands of years in Jahannam before eventually the Prophet ﷺ will bring you out. And I haven't talked about it because we're only concentrating on Judgment Day. We haven't talked about the fifth stage, which is the hellfire and paradise. And the lightest punishment in hellfire is that bad, the lightest. Because don't forget, Jahannam the opinion is it's a country, it's a planet. It's a planet itself. You got continents, all that. One of the opinions is the light Jahannam, which is the light one. That's the core of the earth. But Jahannam is actually a planet, right? And that's it. You're done. You're there. And even you're going to suffer there time and time again. But if I wanted to really scare you, I would have given you some description on Jahannam. Then you would have really got scared. But remember, don't lose hope. Yeah, hope is what's going to bring us. So that's the important thing. Always have hope. Umar mentioned that if it was announced that everyone but one person has entered paradise, Jahannam, I will be fearful that I'm that one person. I will be fearful that I'm that one person. However, if it's also announced that only one person is going to enter Jannah and the rest are going to Jahannam, I'll be hopeful that I'm that one person. And that's something important. That's what we should stick to. The first person to enter Jannah is Sayyidina Bilal, because he will hold the staff, the banner of the Prophet ﷺ. And he's going to enter. So the first person to enter Jannah, the black person. Right? Considering how much pain they've gone through, etc. This is the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ. Okay? We leave it at that. Unfortunately, we haven't got enough time for the questions because we've overrun as it is. If you got any questions on this topic, we'll pick it up next week. Next week, we're going to start the topic on the Aqidah module, inshallah. So we'll see about that. Hopefully, inshallah, apologize, I've had to speed through it. And I don't feel I've probably done justice to it, but inshallah, you've had a bit of a taste on what it is. وصلى الله سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاك الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.